What's up everybody, Anthony here with another DG Weekly disc golf review and giveaway. This week to kick off 2019, we're going to be going back to a classic in the Dynamic Discs putt and approach lineup. We're going to be kicking things off with the Marshal. Now, like always, we do have a sale on the Marshals on dynamicdiscs.com running from right now all the way until midnight Central Time on January the 16th. You can use this code right here, Marshal10, and that's going to save you 10% off on the Classic Blend, Classic Soft, and Classic Hard Marshals. Once again, on dynamicdiscs.com, and that is through midnight Central Time on Tuesday, January the 16th. So this thing is a putt and approach disc, so let's kick it off by talking about it as a putter first, and then we'll go back to the tee pad. So we'll start inside the circle, and as an inside the circle putter, the best way that I can describe this thing would basically be just basically that. It is fantastic. It's stable enough to handle winds, handle spin putts. If you are a big spin putter, hyzer putter, anything like that, it'll handle it and it'll keep going straight. And it's not so overstable that you can't make those longer putts. It's not going to fade out on you on those longer circle's edge type putts. When you move back outside of the circle, you will see a little bit more of that fade. You will notice that stability a little bit more, but that's the nature of longer putts using a stable to overstable putter like that. In terms of the feel, it is a little bit deeper than things like the Judge, the Deputy, the Warden, things like that. It's a little bit deeper, but it's not quite as deep as something like the Dagger or the Guard, which we have coming out later this year. Those are both much deeper than this, so this is kind of a mid to semi-deep dish putter, and it does have a flat top on the top as well, so that kind of helps to keep it from feeling too big and too chunky in your hand. So very comfortable. It does have a micro bead on the bottom, we'll call it. It's not quite fully beadless, but it definitely doesn't have the bead of something like a Judge. It is a speed 3, glide 4, turn of 0, and then a fade of 1. And I think those numbers are super accurate. I think the speed 3 and the glide 4 really shine once you step back to the tee pad or use this as an approach putter. And the turn of 0 is absolutely spot on. This thing will not flip on you. The fade of 1, I think you can almost bump that up to like a 1.5. I think it's a little bit more overstable for your typical average run-of-the-mill disc golfer. I think you'll get a little bit more overstability out of this than those numbers would indicate. So let's go ahead and throw this over to Mr. Eric Oakley. Everyone knows he is very well cemented on Team Marshal. He loves this thing as a putter. This is what he has been using for the better part of the 2018 season, and he is using going into the 2019 season as well. So let's check in with him and see why he uses the Marshal as his putter.
I use the Classic Marshal for putting. This disc has given me confidence, and I'm only getting better the more I putt with it. It forces me to commit to my putts, and when I'm committing to my putts, I'm making my putts. It's a stable putter, so I can trust it into the wind, and it's really comfortable. It's not too deep, and it's not too shallow, so for my hands, it fits great. Another part why I like the Marshal is that it's good for all styles of putts. So for my spin putt, it's really good because if I snap it, it stays nice and straight, and I can trust it. But if you have a push putt, it's actually really good because it has really good glide and a good stability that you can trust that it's going to stay in the air. The Marshal is only making me better, and I can't wait for you guys to try one out. Team Marshal.
If you don't want to take my opinion, you've got to believe Eric when he says the Marshal is a fantastic putter. But now we'll take a step back a little bit. We'll step back to the fairways and to the tee pads on those shorter holes and talk about how the Marshal works as a driving putter. And that's where that 4 glide really comes in. It's a very floaty, very soft flying disc, we'll call it. It's not going to be the fastest, and it just wants to go nice and smooth. The turn of 0 is absolutely spot on. If I throw this thing on a hyzer, it's holding that hyzer line, and then the one fade, it doesn't dump out at the end. It doesn't want to crash down. It's a very smooth hyzer flight. It holds that angle of release the entire time. And if I'm going to throw this thing on a flat shot, that's where this disc shines, in my opinion. On those flat putter drives where you just want to go straight and keep penetrating forward, that's what this disc does. It does have a good, strong, dependable fade out at the end, so you know even if you need that shot in winds, even if you need to just get around that one tree at the end, if you're worried if there's water behind the basket, you don't want to go too far, the Marshal is an excellent option for that because it will give you that nice straight flight and that dependable fade, so you know it's not going to carry too far, but you can still get that good, reliable flight and distance. So once again, let's go ahead and check with Eric Oakley and see how he likes the Marshal. He has a little bit more power. He throws a little bit harder than just about anyone else, and he still uses this disc. So let's see what he uses it for.
This disc is incredible. I used to throw the Shield and the Warden in both premium plastics and VIP and Fusion, but now I've switched to just throwing this. This disc has the best of both worlds. I can make it overstable if I throw it with hyzer. I can make it straight by throwing it flat or a little bit of Annie, and I can trust it. It's even better on the approach because the blend plastic is a little bit grippier and it helps it sit. Rather than trying to play a little ground play, I can actually throw it to the basket and trust that it's not going to go far because it's going to sit right there to give me a good opportunity to score well.
So there you go. You can see even with the bigger arms, even with the touring professionals like Eric, the Marshal has the stability and it has the consistency to make their bags. Paige Pierce, 4-time world champion, she throws the Marshal a ton as well. But that's not all. We've got more for you guys today here. We are also going to be giving away this classic blend Marshal. And the way we're going to be doing that is down in the comments below. We talked with Eric Oakley a lot about the Marshal and about why he loves the Marshal. I want you guys to let me know what putters Eric talked about other than the Marshal. What did he used to throw? He said it in one of his clips, so if you weren't paying attention, if you didn't have a keen ear, you're going to have to go back and watch his little segments. Tell me, what are the 2 discs that he said he used to throw that he replaced with the Marshal? We will just pick one of the correct answers at random because there's a lot of you out there. There's a lot of you that are paying attention, and there's a lot of you that are going to get that question right. So we will only pick one at random. If you are not that person, unfortunately, I'm sorry, you don't get a free disc, but what I can do for you is give you 10% off on the Classic Blend, Classic Soft, and Classic Hard Marshals using the coupon code. Once again, it is Marshal10. That works on dynamicdiscs.com, running from right now all the way until midnight Central Time on January the 16th. Thank you all for watching. Thank you again to Eric for sending in those video clips and letting us know why he loves the Marshal, why this became one of his favorite discs almost overnight. So thank you guys, and until next time, go get out and throw. But not like that.